Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. First things first, I do have to give a little apology to everyone for the much delayed release of basis picks yesterday. Quick brief story behind it. Friday, life was lifing, so I didn't really get the opportunity to do it. And because the weigh-in for Kambosos and Lomachenko wasn't going to take place until 1:30 a.m. in the morning anyway, I decided to just wait until Saturday to get it out. But then when Saturday came, I had some things I needed to do. And ultimately, I recorded it, I edited it, thumbnail, everything, released it about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so just before the prelim started on the McCaskill versus Price undercard. But I got a message from my boy Danny Glover. Shout out to Danny Glover. He hit me up and said there's no sound on the video. Now initially I thought, okay, sometimes that's just a YouTube thing, you know, just come out of it, go back in a couple minutes later, it should be fine. But he was like, no, I tried all that, it's not there. So I've gone onto the file, they're not showing any sound. I've gone into the recording and the editing software, there's sound there, so I've resaved it. I resaved it and there was no sound again. Couldn't figure out what was going on, but I had somewhere to go, so I said, all right, do you know what, I just had to put a message out on Twitter and just said, look, these are my predictions, videos not working, etc, etc. I got to where I was going, which is basically Edmonton in North London, and I uploaded a different video from my editing software, just put it in, saved it, checked that one, sound was playing. So I resaved the previous file, it came out with the sound. I said, okay, cool. So I put the video back out again, like 9 o'clock in the evening, 9:30, whatever it was. So it was before the main event took place for McCaskill, Price and Bentley and Dignum. But yeah, I appreciate most probably people didn't get the chance to watch that early. But the fact that there's actually still close to 200 views on the video this morning when I checked was a surprise to me. So thank you to everyone who did watch it posthumously. I appreciate that. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into basically what happened this weekend. Now, full disclosure, I've not been able to watch much. It's been a busy weekend and I'm not even going to have the time to be able to go back and check everything. So I am going to be leaning quite heavily on Tony Pugilist Boy's knowledge and coverage of this weekend. I managed to see all the main events and I saw a couple of the chief supports. So that's pretty much my focus. That's where we're going. So if we start basically with McCaskill versus Price, I haven't seen any of the undercard. Yeah, there's none at all. Reese Edwards, and I haven't watched any of it. I've seen a couple. There was a couple knockouts that seemed to have occurred earlier in the night, which good for them. I'm glad that happened because on paper the cards, as I said, looked trash. A whole card full of non-punchers, no knockouts on the records. It was going to be a lot of 8 rounds and 10 rounds and 12 rounds and stuff. But it seems that it maybe didn't appear that way. So congrats to them. Moving to that main event. Look, you guys will know that I've got nothing against Jessica McCaskill as a person. I think that she's the chronicle overachiever in women's boxing. Rick Ramos I've spoken to a couple times on Twitter X, and he seems like a cool guy for the most part. But this whole notion that they keep saying that she knows how to box, she just chooses not to. Yeah, finally, I think we just got to put that to rest. Outside of that, I said on the video, to me, I don't see her being able to win a round. I also said this on the round table on, I think it was Joe Habib's Ringside Reporter channel on Monday. So you can go and check that to double verify what I'm saying. So I've said it in 3 different instances. She won't win a round against Lauren Price. And it just going to look like a lopsided 10-round beating. And ultimately, that's what it was. It ended at the very start of the 9th round when the referee called the doctor in to check her, over McCaskill's eye, which at this point was majorly swollen over, grotesque, very just out there, and it was caused due to a clash of heads, I believe, in the third round. So the fight ended up going to technical decision, and it ended up going 9 rounds to 0 for Lauren Price, sorry. Yeah, so Jessica McCaskill didn't win 1 round. She was slow in there, ponderous. She was just like winging shots out from way outside of distance, being made to miss horribly. It just looked horrendous. It's arguably one of the worst performances she's had, and that's saying something because she's had some stinkers, but I think it's more just because Lauren Price is, I said, too quick, too fast, too big. She's used to fighting a lot bigger women than Jessica naturally. And if we talk about bigger women, my gosh, Lauren Price looked like a junior bodybuilder in there. She looked like one of those power lifters from the Olympics. The shoulders, the arms, like she just looked huge. And Jessica McCaskill looked near enough half her size in the ring. So it just goes to show you how big of a woman Lauren Price really is. And what I will also say, I said this yesterday on Twitter X after I'd seen the fight, and I will say it again, as good as Lauren Price is, she's definitely dirty. Like there was many times in that fight she led with her head. Obviously the punch of the head clash which caused the eye injury, okay, McCaskill kind of went over and around the side, and Lauren Price has basically dodged it, and so she's, so McCaskill's arm is behind her, but she has then, knowing that McCaskill is obviously, about launching forward, she's intentionally, dipped down, got into the forehead, and boom, and I don't know what they put in the braids that the women seem to wear, but a lot of the time those braids seem very sharp and very coarse, like very coarse hair. Like Lauren caught her very, very clean on that eye. And it's funny because the ref didn't, when he broke them up, he didn't check her. He didn't, check to see if there's any visible damage. The eye just ballooned up straight away. That wasn't the first time. There was about 3 or 4 times in the fight where I will give Jessica McCaskill credit to say, look, she got caught clean with headbutts, and the ref didn't do anything. He didn't break them apart. He didn't admonish Lauren Price or vice versa. Yes, many times he kind of brought them together. Look, you stop this, you stop that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, to me, even though, there was maybe one accidental head clash in there, but there was a couple others where I do actually believe that Lauren Price engineered the head clash, put it that way. But that being said, dominant performance. Still hasn't lost a round as a pro. There's going to be much harder task for her in the future. I do believe that. But yeah, she's massive. 147. Looking at the size of her, she could quite comfortably compete at 154. I would even say go to 160. Take on like if after 1 or 2 more bouts, take on Clarissa Shields at 160 because she's got the size to compete with her. The woman is huge. But yeah, shout outs to her anyway. She got her homecoming. She got to win a title in her hometown. I'm sure she's looking for unifications moving forward. So congrats to her. Moving over to the Queensbury card. Again, didn't see anything. I do have them recorded. So if I get a chance later on tonight, if I'm not too tired, I will try and watch some of the undercard fights, especially the Liam Dillon fight and the Nathaniel Collins fights. But I predicted that Denzel Bentley would win via knockout, but I didn't predict it would be in the second round. I went later. I think I said sort of around 7 to 8. And I think on my predictions league, I think I might have put round 9, just because I thought Dignum would like hang back and just make Denzel have to sort of try and chase him, and then he just sort of get to him in the second half. I did say he would get to him with the body shots and so that he could bring the arms down to then catch him in the head. Well, he did that, but he did that from the second round onwards. And strategically, very smartly from Denzel Bentley, he decided, no, I'm going to be the counterpuncher here. I'm going to hang back on the back foot. You're going to have to come to me because I know you don't like that game. I'm quite happy to be patient because I know I've got the power that you don't have. And oh boy, did that power reign true. But Denzel, vicious body shots in the second round. Two extremely hard solar plexus shots just destroyed Danny Dignum. He managed to get up both times, but again, now that the body's there, the body's tender, it's vulnerable. Denzel shoots a couple of throwaway shots to the body just so Danny Dignum gets his arms down into, to protect the body, and then boom, sweeping right hook comes across the top of the top of the chin, and Dignum's down again. He's protesting to his corner, get off the ropes, don't close the fight off. But the referee, I think because it's the third knockdown in the round, he was looking to count him out anyway. Dignum seemed upset by that, but ultimately it was only going one way, and if he didn't get knocked down there, he probably would have survived the rest of that round, but round 3 or round 4, it would have been a bad situation. So you know what, shout out to Denzel Bentley. Man like Too Sharp was definitely way too sharp for Danny Dignum last night, and it showed. I'm sure that Nathan Heaney fight needs to get run back, maybe for the British after he finishes the Brad Paul's rematch, which I believe is going to be taking place in July. But yeah, shout out to Denzel. I'll be interested to see if he's gonna fight again beforehand, or if he's gonna just wait to see for the winner of that fight and then take on the winner, see if he can get his lick back against Heaney, or I guess go for Brad Paul's if he's got any interest in winning that British title back. But I don't know if he would at this point. But yeah, so that's that. Then moving over to Mexico, again, I haven't seen all of this card, but I did see the main 2 fights, which was Erica Cruz versus Nazarena Romero. Now, I did predict that Nazarena would win, but I did, whereas I know, my boy Ring IQ Julius thought that she would get a stoppage in this fight. I thought that she would probably get a split decision, obviously Mexico, Argentina, but she's in Mexico, and I just didn't believe that Erica Cruz, I'm not saying she can't be knocked out, but she's just strong, tough, durable. I was wrestling about, do I pick the stoppage, but overall I went for the split decision victory. Well, it ended up being a split decision draw, which actually favoured Romero. It was very fortunate that she got a draw, because having watched the fight, I didn't score it, but there was only sort of 3, maybe 4 rounds I saw where I was like, yeah, you can kind of get that. But there was 2 judges. One had it 97-93 to Cruz, and the other one had it 97-93 to Romero, and then the last one had it 95-95. I can kind of see, like I said, I can see 4 rounds clearly on either side. So if that's the case, 2 other rounds there, swings. 97-93 seemed a bit wide on both accounts, but with that being said, Erica Cruz definitely controlled more of the fight and sort of made the fight more hers than Nazarena. At the end of the fight, Nazarena was complaining that that Erica was, she's using the head. So she was like, well, if we have a rematch, I guess I've got to prepare and plan better on how to avoid her headbutts. But I want the rematch. Whereas Erica said, well, no, you had your chance. Like, you were the mandatory. You had your mandatory. You didn't win. I'm still the champion. I want to unify. So it definitely looks like she's looking in the direction of Ellie Scotney, or the winner of Ramla Ali versus Yamileth Mercado. I'm going to assume, because Ellie Scotney is I guess maybe the person with the bigger profile and the bigger future, I reckon that Eddie is going to attempt to have the winner of Yamileth Mercado and Ramla Ali take on Erica Cruz next, so that the winner of that can at least come into the fight with Ellie Scotney as a 2 belt, so it's 2-2. There is a potential where maybe Erica Cruz faces Ellie Scotney next, because they would definitely be looked at as the 1 and 2 in the division, especially if Ramla beats Mercado. If not, then Mercado will still have a shout to say that she's the number 1, because she's the longest reigning champion at super bantamweight. But that's all sort of all in the future. But maybe you have Erica Cruz against Ellie Scotney, so you could literally say that Ellie Scotney went and did undisputed and belt collected every single belt 1 by 1, which, if that's the case, obviously that is an amazing trait, and I don't actually think that's been done in the 4-belt era yet, where someone has collected every single belt from a different champion. A lot of the time you might collect 3, you get 1 and then you get 1 and then you have a unification, but I'm not sure. Someone will have to correct me. I can't be bothered to kind of go through and check, but I do think that is actually accurate. So maybe if you look at it that way, that's a bit of a history that someone like Eddie Scotney could achieve. So maybe Eddie Hearn might look at that as the game plan for her. But yeah, shout out to Erica Cruz for obviously keeping the belt and for putting in a much better performance than I expected. Obviously I knew she's the old war dog. She is, Miss, as I said, that the engine is infallible, because she could be on the stool looking like she's dying in between rounds. The following round she still come out and throw 60-70 punches and then just rinse and repeat. But she looked really good in there last night, so shout out to her. Main event, again, this is another one I got spot on. I did predict that Rocky Hernandez would win inside the 7th round. I did predict the 7th in basis picks. Funnily enough, on my predictions league, I think I put around 9. So I'm not sure why I keep having such disparities between what I send to the predictions league and what I put in the videos. I think sometimes I think about the fights more afterwards, because that predictions league has got to be in on a certain date, whereas basis picks I got all the way up until the start of the fights to do these. So maybe that's why, but I've got to start taking more notice of what I'm putting on there and what I'm putting out on the video. But yeah, called that one spot on. I said it would all be down to how good of a start he has, and he had to come through a crisis. I think it was in round 2 or round 3 where Daniel Lugo was really sort of pushing the pace on him, but he managed to circle the ring, get through that round, maintain distance, get himself composed, and then just the bludgeoning punches just started again from sort of the end of round 4 to the sort of the middle of round 5, and then round 6, and then round 7, and referee jumped in and stopped it. Right, definitely the right decision. So congrats there. Moving over to the top rank and the top rank card, that took place in Australia. I'm not sure which part. I didn't actually check, but I'm going to assume it was Melbourne. I didn't see the Imam Katia fight. It's on I know it's on the prelim section, so I'm gonna have to jump on my old VPN to check ESPN over in the States to get that fight. But I do know that he did stop Richard Bolotniks, which I did say he would. Now, the only fight I ended up getting wrong this entire weekend in terms of winners and methods was Andrew Maloney and Guevara. As I said before, I didn't see much of Guevara, so I just assumed that Maloney would get hometown favor, and I felt that between him and Jason, even though Jason's the one that's won the world titles, I always kind of felt that Andrew was a slightly better fighter. He just was unfortunate. He always had better opponents, but I could be wrong. Anyone who wants to have it the other way or wants to disagree with me, feel free, go ahead. I won't argue with you. But that being said, I still haven't watched the fight yet, but I do know that it was a split decision victory to Guevara, and on the back of that, Andrew Maloney has seemingly thrown his toys out of the pram, been extremely upset, thinks he bossed the fight 9 rounds to 3 at absolute worst, came in 8 days out with a bicep tear or an injury on his left arm, but he feels he won it. But because he thinks that he's been screwed over yet again in the pros, he's now calling it a quits and saying that he's retiring from boxing. If that sticks, then fine. He had a decent career, but if not, then maybe it's just the emotions talking right now. But I can't really speak much more on that. Nina Hughes versus Shanika Johnson played out pretty much as I had predicted. I said that that Shanika Johnson would win this fight either a unanimous decision or a majority decision. On my predictions league, I put split, but in the video I said it would either be a unanimous or it would be a majority, and pretty much it played out how I thought it would play out. Some of the earlier rounds looked a lot closer, whereby Nina was looking she was a lot more busy and active, but I don't know how much stuff was necessarily getting through. But a lot of the more accurate work was coming from Shanika, who obviously is, you know, much naturally taller, bigger, just a bigger framed woman. They both kind of, if I'm going to be honest, they both looked a little bit slow and ponderous compared to how I've usually seen them. So I don't know if that's maybe jet lag for one and maybe making that smaller weight again for the other, or it could be the other little things. I'm not quite sure. But the fight wasn't a particularly fun fight to watch. Not like, you know, the Shanika Johnson versus Susie Crew Ramadan fight. That one was a nice fight. Even her fight with Ellie Scottney was sort of much more aesthetically pleasing. But I mean, I guess the biggest takeaway from this one was the announcer at the end putting. Now I don't understand how you make such a massive mistake in the fight. The only thing I can think of is usually a lot of the time the champion ends up in the blue corner and the challenger's in the red corner. So maybe he's seen blue on the sheet and has thought, oh, so that must be Nina Hughes's corner, because blue is usually the champion's corner. But on this particular occasion, like, yeah, he made a howler and it ended up being a 95-95 even, and then a 96-94, and then a 98-92 to Shanika Johnson. Now, I must admit, 98-92 on either, if it was Shanika or Nina, I can't see 8 rounds clear for either person. The 96-94s and the 95-95s were correct. I can see that. More so for Shanika than Nina, if I'm honest. Like I said, Nina had a lot of activity, but a lot of it was blocked. But she did win some rounds quite clearly. I feel that both women won 3 rounds clearly apiece. So, but maybe Shanika, maybe there's more argument to say she maybe won 4 rounds cleaner. So yeah, but yeah, the announcer, and then he gets them back to the center ring and then just re-announces it, but says to the blue corner, Shanika Johnson and your new. But yeah, the whole thing looked horrible. There was no apology. There was no seeming like remorse. He just literally, matter of fact, back to center of the ring, ladies. The whole thing just seemed odd, and that more perpetuates when someone says, yeah, like, it's going to be a hometown decision, it's going to be hometown cooking. It's hard not to believe that when you've literally made the away fighter win, and then oh no, sorry, last minute that wasn't the right. I made the mistake. No, it's actually the hometown fighter that won the fight, the challenger, the person that's not the champion. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a little bit of an investigation into that. Maybe not necessarily the result, but just the handling of it. And I'm sure that announcer, he may be on the unemployment list quite shortly, because to have a howler like that and then to just act like it didn't happen afterwards, yeah, it's a bit crazy. But any of my Australian peeps who watch this, I know I've got a few of you in here, please let me know your thoughts, and maybe I'm overreacting, or you know, I'm seeing it different to how you guys see it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, main event, another one I called spot on, but again, mad, because on the video I said it would be, he's going to get stopped in the 10th round, referee's going to stop it, corner's going to throw the towel in. And my predictions league, I said it would be 11th round. So basically I was covered in both of those, but yeah, on the video I said the 10th. So let's say, just for you guys' sake, I was out by 1 round. But in terms of the way that the fight went and the aesthetics of it and how I saw it playing out, totally exactly as I predicted. People who have watched the Basis Picks video after actually watching the fight have come back. There's a message on there. I don't remember the name of the guy who left the message, but he basically said it was eerie how I've called that fight after he's now watched it and seen how I predicted it would go. Like the fact that it's it's eerie how that whole thing took place. So yeah, there are times I just get these premonitions. It's almost like a vision of certain fights. I had the same thing with Joyce and Zhang, but I had it for the for the first fight, when in actual fact what I dreamed had happened actually then took place in the second fight instead. So yeah, occasionally you get them spot on. There's a few that I will get spot on. This one I got spot on. Crawford and Spence I got spot on, and then there's a couple others which we'll talk about sort of maybe another time, maybe a members only video. But yeah, Lomachenko gets the IBF lightweight title, the only belt he's never held at the lightweight division. I don't know if that means that he'll now try and go on a run for an undisputed tilt, or maybe he'll just be happy that he's now got every single belt from the division that he can put in his collection at home. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's about as much of the weekend as I can wrap up at this point in time. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your comments down below, and if there's any fights that you saw that you felt, yeah, no, you have to watch this one, make sure you watch this, like put it in the comments and I'll do my best to check it. There will be content coming out throughout the week. Probably gonna start dropping content from Tuesday onwards this week rather than from Wednesday. Maybe even tomorrow I might have a video or two to put up. You know, there's a lot of basis picks content to come out this week for, you know, Big Undisputed and that Saudi card. Loads of other stories that we'll be talking about, so I'm sure we'll be chopping it up. But for right now, thank you guys for watching. It's appreciated. Apologies again for the lateness of basis picks yesterday, but thank you to everyone who has watched it. I will catch you on the next video. So until then, peace.